Hey guys, what is going on? And I forgot that we had an extra round, so I didn't upload this one. So my apologies on getting to this one a little bit later. But thanks for all the support you guys have been giving me on my GAC recaps. It's awesome to see. If you guys haven't subscribed to the channel, I would greatly appreciate it. Or leaving a thumbs up, or commenting, or doing all three. You'd be an awesome person. But yeah, this is going to be round 3 of week 4 of season 25. So it's coming to you guys a little bit late. My apologies for that. We are skill rating 3948. And like I said, I think we're starting to get closer to where we should be based on the accounts and stuff like that. So let's take a pause here and look at the tail of the tape as we face Anakin 720 from ANZGC. I don't know if that's their top one or what, but it's 414 mil GP, so pretty high up there. And basically legacy stuff, right, is all kind of telling me that he plays, but not always plays for. He didn't play like every single round or something like that, you know, or he might have just gotten to the point where if he knew he was going to win, he stopped, or if he knew he was going to lose, he would stop, just because of how many more wins and stuff. Because I have quite a few rounds that I wasn't able to play due to my work, but just the amount of clears that I have over him and stuff like that just makes it seem like he didn't play as much GAC. Does have about 300k more GP than I do, and you can see he's got more mods than I do, more 6-dot mods, but I definitely beat him in the upper echelon of the speed mods than he has. But he has more of the depth, I guess you can call it. And sometimes those depth ones they're so underappreciated, right? Because sometimes you have an amazing mod at plus 15 speed with, you know, offense percentage and protection percentage and all these other things that you need. And it's better than just having, you know, a 20 speed mod that has flat defense and, you know, some other randoms in there that just don't really help out the kit too much. So definitely has the advantage as far as depth goes, but I definitely have the advantage as far as top end goes. He does have more relics than me, and they do tend to skew a little bit more on the, you know, upper echelon, which again I want to make a video about. Just because there is a difference, right? There is definitely a difference about where your relic levels fall. You can't just really look at the total levels, although it is usually an indication about what's happening. You know, the upper echelon ones are definitely the ones that you really want to keep an eye out for. We have the same roster, roughly, no star killer, and there's the rest of our stuff. So it does seem like all of his R9s, well, some of his R9s are on his ships, so that's another thing for me to take into account. Let's go ahead and back into this matchup, and let's do it. All right, so like I said, you know, I think we're getting back closer to where we are going to fall in line. So let's take a look at his board. We got a Mon Mothma Kyle. We've got a Bam with some scoundrels here with a, you know, Dad Bod Boba, Geos, and then a Dash Rendar team. And then in bottom wall we have Iden with JMK, DR with Talon, and an R8 GG. Okay, so I decided that if he's gonna go ahead and place his, you know, one of the best Galactic Legends up front, I'm gonna go ahead and use mine up, because why not? So again, this goes back into, hey, what I'm gonna do JMK full banners here, and as long as your cat is faster than the opponent's cat, what you can do is you start the same way, but then you swap turns with R2D2, and then you put everyone in stealth other than JMK, so that way the AI force sleeps onto JMK. You can't destroy a Galactic Legend, so therefore you can kind of negate their JMK or their cat, sorry. Now I make a mistake here because I have one ult charge, right? That's all you need right now. I should pop ult right now, so that way I can attack outside of taunt, and then I should force sleep their cat, and then they would lose a ton of stats and stuff like that, and I didn't do that. So my bad. We still end up winning this one, but it just takes a little bit longer. You really just want to get rid of Cat as soon as possible, especially because now they pop into their high ground, and so they have a bunch more defense and stuff like that. So basically everything that we're going to do is kind of all for naught right here. Now, we did learn, this was the same comp that we had last time, last round, that hey, going after Padme really is the best way here. And Padme really is kind of like she's what's gonna keep this match a lot longer. So I'm selecting Cat to basically boost up her next Force Sleep damage, and I don't remember so I do go for it here. So I wanted to try and get Padme's savior done and out of the way as soon as possible, and I think we get it right here. Yes. Okay, so there's the savior, or whatever you want to call it. We heal immuned her, so she did her healing move, but she didn't really do anything to herself. And now it's just getting back into JMK's ult, so that way we can actually attack outside of taunt, because Kenobi's just not gonna die. Especially this one. This one's R9. Their Kenobi's just not gonna die if as long as Padme's around, right? There's too much assisting going on, and yeah, it's just not gonna happen. So I need to get back into ultimate, and in a bad way, and kill Padme, because she's so kind of annoying. But yeah, that's all there is to say about that. But yeah, this is a pretty good comp as long as you do outspeed their Cat. That's the biggest thing. You have to meet that. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see what I do this season. I have been working on some stuff. We'll see if I end up doing it for GAC, but ideally, you know, if you want to get really fancy, you don't need you come up with ways in which you don't use your JMK to beat their JMK, but at the same time, it's super easy. And if you can do it this way, it's full banners. Like, I can't imagine there being really much of a better choice here, just because you are full bannering probably their best team on defense, because most people this is going to be their best team on defense. It's going to be what they have the most of their mods located into, the most of their relic levels located into, unless there's like a Lord Vader team. They've gone really crazy with the relic levels. But yeah, now that Padme's gone, you guys can see we're just tearing through these guys now. And it'll end quickly, but you can see there is a timeout potential here if you don't do what I'm talking about, because there was two things that we did wrong here. Again, we didn't do the first ult, and that prolonged this fight, and then just Padme not going after Padme prolongs this fight. So okay, so this is again been my this is like my approved bounty hunter or Sith Empire counter. Like, I just can't state this enough, like how much this means to me, because like I don't even have good bounty hunters. The Zam Omicron just hides all my bad modding and everything. So 3 turns in, we immediately are able to just destroy DR. There is no more fear anymore. There's no more, Sith Empire can now get stunned. There's just so much going on there that's so good. And then this is usually where we get to, and like where things start taking a pause, right? Because Sith Marauder really thrives off of buffs and debuffs, and right now we have a lot of buffs, and he's got quite a few debuffs on the team. And he loves out of turn attacks, which a lot of times you're doing with your bounty hunters. And then you don't, with this team and Malik, a lot of times you're critting, so there goes another turn that you're kind of wasting because you're feared. So this is usually where the match kind of stalls out a little bit, or feels like it's stalling out. But looks like we're gonna get through Marauder, and now it's really just about waiting until our Mando gets his Annihilate going, which I think is coming up. Yep, it is. So now that Malik's gone, we're at full health and protection here. things are looking really good. And Zam just comes out of nowhere because of the multi thermals and just blasts her away. And it was a, you know, a 3 or 4 star, I forgot. Okay, so this is if I remember right, this is in an Omicron Iden. Not the best supporting cast. And even if it wasn't in, you know, if it's not an Omicron Iden, then this match is a lot easier than it should be. But even if it is, this still tends to work out as long as it seems like there's equal relic levels. I have seen it fail before though, so I don't know. We'll see. I'm kind of curious whenever we start facing those big boy Iden Versios again. So yeah, basically you really want to get target lock on people. It's like all Grievous counters. That's really what gets Grievous moving. So anytime you can get target locks on people, you're gonna stop the counterattacks. And so yeah, and then one thing that was really impressive with me, that really impressed me, I should say, was Stormtrooper. How thick he is. He just really just took a beating. I wasn't even trying to kill Iden because I knew that she was just gonna re-pop back up. I was just trying to slow her down with the extortions, and I think we're gonna kill her here again. Yep. And so, but I was just so surprised at how tanky Stormtrooper was. Like, he just full on tanks quite a few hits from Grievous, who hits pretty hard. And yeah, he was just taking it like a champ. So yeah, I don't know. But there's Grievous against Iden, 62 for perfect Grievous banters. All right, so I took a calculated risk here. I didn't know what was in his back wall, but I knew that I had already used up a Galactic Legend. And so if I used Jedi up too early, things might have been bad for me. And so I decided to do Night Sisters. I have pretty good success with it, but like all things, you know, there's quite a bit of RNG factor here. And I do actually think that I play this wrong, if I remember right. And I'm pretty rusty with this because I don't normally count this as my Grievous counter. But I will say this much too. Having him have Grievous on defense, although I'm pretty sure I'll lose this. Spoiler alert. I lose this. Having him have Grievous on defense, it opens up a lot of things for me. There's not a chance that he can kind of Grievous something, and that's pretty big again for my defensive plans. So not that I knew that he was going to play Grievous, I don't think. So I was kind of surprised to see it, but I do think that I fail this. Now we're doing the right thing here. We're boosting up a lot of our DACA health here by, you know, summoning in. The thing that we really need to keep an eye on for is how many stacks of B1 we get versus how many stacks of Plague she has. And so I think I don't pay off Extortion here, and I actually think that that's the wrong move here. I would have healed up 10%. The reason why I think I didn't do it was because I was afraid B1 was going to go next, and if B1 goes right now, it's going to die because it's got 3 stacks. I kill it off anyways, but the problem is that, again, that call to assist right there, right, because of Extortion happens. I should have paid off Extortion, and it would have healed me up a little bit, and they would have gone, and B1 would have died, but that would have been all right because we saw we can tank a hit from Grievous. We couldn't tank 2 hits with everyone calling to assist. So again, I took a calculated risk, and eventually I beat him with, I think I threw in a burner squad and then an Ewok squad. So I 3-tapped that team, but again, I knew that I needed to take a risk because I didn't know what was back here, and that paid off for me fully. Again, I can't, there are times where you need to play the front zone completely, like just, hey, I got to take my strongest teams here. There are other times where you need to play it and not show all your cards out at one, on one zone. And that was absolutely the case here. Side note, this battle takes forever because I brought GK in here because I was like, well, I didn't use GK with JMK. And like as soon as I hit battle, I was like, man, this was the wrong idea, because they're just, GK is gonna like permataunt, and we're gonna be stuck here, and they're gonna just keep hitting GK, and I don't need them to hit GK. I really actually need them to go kill Qui-Gon Jinn. Now I have been told that Anakin cycles through enough turns, especially if you're using a full team, that you can basically just start off with AoE, and just anytime that's on cooldown, you can just pretty much AoE. I'm not sure if I don't know if I'm a buyer in that, because man, if let's just say you think that you're good and then all of a sudden you aren't, that would be a terrible time to have to realize that you need your AoE and you don't have it. So I don't know, I'll leave that one up to you guys. I'm just gonna play it like I've been playing it, which is just do basics until Qui-Gon Jinn is dead, because really, like, you can't tell like what their attack pattern is, right? Like right now, it's not like they're focusing on the least healthy person, and right now Qui-Gon Jinn's not it. So I feel like you can't really predict when they are going to kill Qui-Gon. Like, they're going to eventually kill Qui-Gon, again, spoiler alert here, and when they do, I didn't know that they were going to do it, right? Like right there, like had I used my AoE the round before, I'd be screwed right there. But we didn't, and so hey, there we go. We're gonna beat this team, and it's not for good banners on this attempt, but you know, 59 gets it done. So yeah, and this guy blessed me, I guess, a little bit, right? Because he put Nest with Dash, and normally Nest is with, you know, Bam, and it's to try to make it anti-troopable. And I was just like, well, you know, I'm not gonna not troop or something. So I took that for what it's worth. So for those of you thinking about defenses, just remember that there is a troopers team, and it's impossible to stop someone from troopering something, but you have to understand, like, what are you gonna give up? Like, which team do you want to give? Ideally, you'll have them trooper your weakest team, and basically you take troopers out of it. And the reason why is because they're such a high banner team. It's really hard to kind of get them to the point where they aren't gonna get like really good banners on something, because basically once they get a kill, they're just never really gonna allow anyone to take a turn. So they're gonna get like a 65 every time, basically. And so again, it's about what are you okay with using troopers on, right? Or what are you okay with your opponent using their troopers on? So just a little like thought when you guys are setting your guys' defense, like, hey, what team am I like wanting them to use troopers on? So then I decided to use CLS against these Geos. I had other teams that could have easily did it as well, but I was like, man, well, this is going to be like a pretty good score, so might as well go for it. So yeah, you open up on GBA, then you just kind of buff immune the brute, and then you just go all in on GBA, and it's all but over, right? Once he's gone, it's kind of hilarious. Like, everyone else just kind of falls. Chupio does his little AoE, and everyone's happy. So another 65 there. Okay, so I have my Jedi tuned to doing SLKR. Again, a little defensive tip, you know, unless you have some really good use for crew, the double tank is much more difficult after the nerf and stuff like that of JKL. So, and I play this wrong too, and you're gonna see at the very end, like, I'm a little bit kind of upset with the banners, or not upset, but it's not like you see me rage and throw my phone. But yeah, so I make a mistake here, and the mistake is that I play it right for the most part, but then I allow Sith Trooper to get an AoE in. So yeah, I think right there you can just call into assist. I didn't do it just because I didn't want him gaining some mastery, and we already had an ability block, so I just figured, hey, we're good. And then yeah, so like, this is why single tank is so easy. You can literally just go after SLKR because Red Trooper's still ability blocked. And so why that mattered, right? I didn't mark the first time, and why it matters now is because if I'd marked first, I'd have the mark up sooner, and I'd be able to kind of go through Sith Trooper easier. But right now he's a little bit tanky, and First Order officer gets his turn and then swaps with them, clears the debuffs, and so now I lost a lot of banners. This should be ideally like a 65 or 64 if you play it right, and if your characters are attuned to it as well. And so yeah, this one doesn't hurt me in this match, but it, you know, again, sometimes these rounds come down to single digit banners, so losing 3 right there in a not needed way, like I paused there and I was just like, oh no, why did I allow that to happen? So not necessary, but definitely a little bit disappointed with that. So again, JMK or JML is great against Rey. I think I actually do I still have C? I think I still have C, if I'm not mistaken, because of being able to kind of off meta counter, being able to off meta counter SLKR. I actually still have 1 GL, but so I could have C'd this, but I just figured this was actually going to be better banners. This Rey was built in a way that I thought like I could really kill Rey quick, especially the team comp that they had. And so we're going to see if that's true, right? So she's always going to get a damage immunity. A lot of times you're able to kill Hero Finn before he goes, just because he's usually really easy to kill. And it looks like Rey came out of her turn, and she's about at I'd say 80% ult, you know, maybe 85%. And so now we're at race for ult time, right? Like we're at the point where we're just gonna go all in on Rey, and hopefully get it before she can ult. So 1-2 from Cam, and here we go. One more of basically 100k damage, and she's gone. So now we're going to spend some time here and just kind of walk around and try to heal people back up. JML's got his ultimate up, so I'm going to try to re-heal some people, knowing that once he goes into ultimate, he's going to be able to reset everyone's cooldowns back to, you know, to being usable, so I can re-heal the next turn that I get with Shock T. If that you know, turn comes, decide to give up some more of JML's protection here, but it's a weird thing, right? Because it's like you end up killing a lot of people using that move. But you know, I got a 64, and I don't know who the last guy was. I think it might have been Cam, but I'm not sure. So the reason why I'm okay with 3-tapping that Grievous was because it looked like he was really trying to bait out Bad Batch and Jedi, and both of them were really required to full clear this guy. At least full clear him, you know, cleanly, I should say. So I go in with Bad Batch against this Omicron, and we didn't get the stun there. Right? So we still took a hit there. So what we're going to do is swap turns with Echo, which kills him with true damage. And then we'll swap with, gosh, what's his name? Hunter, and he would have double tapped there and it would have killed him anyways. But yeah, and Echo or Omega's just out here just randomly shooting. So yeah, so easy 65 even without the stuns, right? Very clutch counter for that team. So if you guys haven't been following, again, the videos that we've been posting, we've been trying a new method of, you know, Executor versus, or I guess Malevolence versus Executor, with Sunfac as the starter. So we open up onto Houndstooth, and they decide to go and kill off our Buzz droid, or our Vulture droid, which again, I don't know if it's neither here nor there, but anyways, they kill off another one right away, and we're gonna go ahead and stun Bosk here. Now, because he's got buffs, it can't be resisted, so it happens every single time. And what that does for us is it just really allows us to go in after Cad Bane, right? Normally Houndstooth is taunting right now, and it prevents us from doing that, which means that when we call out Spy, normally there's just this RNG factor of like, who do we mark, right? but because we're marking, or because we're able to select their Cad Bane, we're able to mark their Cad Bane, and it just so happened we also marked their Mando. So decided to just keep doing some basics, trying to also stop so much turn meter gain from Bosk, right? And then we got a stun there, you know. Again, I don't know if I want to call it lucky or if it's just a stun, but we did get a stun. So that's been helpful. Anytime that you can just prevent them from going, right, you're gonna kind of stave off their ult a little bit. Okay, so there they go. They heal up again a little bit. Might as well get foresight. Maybe we get a lucky dodge again, and you know, we cause our turn meter to go up. Again, they don't have ultimate right now, right? So let's just keep pushing back on ultimate. We're 2 turns away from ours. So let's bring out the Ebon Hawk, right, so we can have the anti-target lock. So first move is the basic, actually, you know, thanks to Bitcoin here. You know, I didn't know if that was gonna kill him. If I knew that was gonna for sure kill him, I would have probably did it, but I didn't know. So I chickened out a little bit and decided to just hit the boss again for the lack of turn meter gains. And then I think I select Spy, if I remember right. Yeah, again, just don't want boss to gain turn meter. And there we go. There was another dodge. And then we do this third special, right? Because you see it's going to grant chaff again for 2 turns, right? So just going to do that. I don't know. Okay, I was going to say, I don't know why I selected the Mando. All right, so there goes our TIE fighter pilot. And again, they don't have ultimate again, right? Because we have, you know, all of our anti-target locks out there. So we could go in ultimate now, but they don't have their, you know, they don't have their target lock thing, you know, their contract or whatever you want to call it. So they're still a ways away from blowing up the ship. So I decide again to bring out our Hyena Bomber. And what that's going to allow us to do is, you know, again, just keep another ship out there, because you don't want to get to the point where, you know, it's just one ship, because again, those vulture droids are just summons. They're not going to stay there. All right, so we're going to go ahead and kill off the Mando here. And now we're gonna end up killing, so that Boba ship was being a real pain. I should have probably went after him first instead of Mando, but I feel pretty good about where we're at right now, right? Because we still got this will cleanse the vulture droid. We still got our tank, you know, and they're just boosting up our turn meter, so why not, right? And we get an assist here, and then we have an AoE coming up soon. So that'll kill off IG 88. And again, they're still not even in target. You know, they haven't loaded up the target locks on us yet. So although this one's probably not as clean of a win as the last one, definitely not bad. And we are getting close to timing out, but man, like, not bad. So I think right now for this method, I think I am 2 and 3. Or 2 wins out of 3 attempts, I should say. And I know that's not the best stats, and it's probably maybe a lot of RNG or whatever, but I just have to say, like, I think that's better than what I was doing with the normal one. So again, who knows, maybe next week I just lose all 3 of them. The first one too, it felt like I didn't know what I was doing. I was just pressing buttons, and I was like, this kind of somewhat makes sense. And as I started digging more into it, I was like, oh wait, this could work. I do have an R5 Sun Fact, and I've been told that that's like the bare minimum that you need to have for that method that we're doing. So for what it's worth, I guess. Okay, so let's go into this match. We're starting off real strong here. At least we got Ahsoka Tano out. Although anyone that's ever fought this fight knows that that's just sort of the opening move that you got to do. Really what it comes down to is you got to get down Anakin, right? So we have to clear a taunt, and they call out 5s as the first one. Now we do have the moment where Jedi Anakin is out of his unending loyalty. I decided to just do a basic or an AoE there because I wanted to try to save Biston. Didn't work anyways. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna dispel all the buffs, and we're just gonna call in Han's Millennium Falcon and destroy JKA. Now I would say that even if we lose this fight, it's super easy to clean up, right? It's a very easy cleanup to do. I was looking at this and there's just no buffs on them, so it's not really, I didn't feel like there was really much to be gained from this, so I just decided to do basic, you know, get some double turn meter gain. And so yeah, I don't know, like this seems like this works great, and then it just sometimes does not, but I think what this one does, I do have, not that it matters anymore, but my Biston and SRP are relicked to relic 5, I believe. So I think I was pulling these off with relic 3 pilots, but obviously you can see how sketch it gets. And I think some of this is just misplaying too. Like I should just be focusing on one guy, right? Like right now, that Y-wing bomber is just being a real pain. And I should have just been focusing him down. Like there was at one point we were at like, I want to say we were at red health with him. I should have just went after him. And again, I think you'll see, I think I go after Plo here. I should just be focusing on one ship at a time. So that's the main issue with what I'm doing right now. But we're gonna get rid of the Y-wing, I think, first, just because 5s is super tanky, man. You're gonna spend a hot minute on him for sure. And yeah, so we'll call out our last reinforcement. Both these ships fights I did not get great banners on, and a lot of times though, although like, you know, banners definitely matter, the ship's banners a lot of times are very difficult things to get right, for sure. It is very quick and fast in which ways that you can go from like a, you know, like a 70 or a 67 win to like, you know, like a 60. Like it's a super quick turnaround. Whereas I feel like in the play around, like, well, yes, AoEs exist and stuff like that, it's just not like, a lot of times you have so much control in a lot of the fights that you're doing. In these ones, sometimes I just feel like, you know, you make one wrong assumption, right? Like you think, oh, my basic's gonna kill him right here, right? And then he doesn't, and then they get a revive, right? So this one is normally like a 67 all the way down to a 63. So anyways, that's the fight, guys. You'll see the board. Anyways, why I want to point out that I was okay with 3-tapping their Grievous. I didn't take a screenshot of it, but we end up winning this fight, and it's because he couldn't clear my one team in the back, right? Any of you cleared, I believe, like I still beat him on banners, but man, that is why you have to be so careful with what you're using on this front wall. Although I would say like the strategy of, you know, front wall and back wall is a little bit different now, because players, you're going to be surrounded by players that also do kind of the same things that you do, just by virtue of, you know, you guys being the same skill kind of thing. But I will say this, like sometimes it's all right to just take a few teams on a team that's, you know, that is there, I think, for the sole purpose of ripping away a counter of yours. So it's hard to delineate that sometimes, but that's just kind of my little tidbit for this one, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are awesome. Remember to hit the thumbs up button. Remember to hit the subscribe button on this channel, and I really appreciate it. We'll continue to throw out these videos into the new season, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.